All right, let's talk about clauses and phrases. First question, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words that has both a subject and a predicate. For example, winter is cold is a clause. Subject is winter. The predicate is cold. What is a phrase, on the other hand? A phrase is a group of words that does not have a subject and a predicate. During the winter. There's no verb in this phrase, so it is not a clause. Now, we also have two different types of clauses. The first is an independent clause. And an independent clause can stand on its own as a sentence. It's an independent thought. For example, Alaska became a state in 1959. The second type of clause is a dependent clause, also known as a subordinate clause. And this type of a clause begins with a subordinating conjunction and cannot stand on its own as a sentence. It depends on another clause to complete the thought. For example, when Alaska became a state. Just adding that subordinating conjunction to the clause changes whether it's independent or dependent. So what are subordinate conjunctions then? They introduce the subordinates or dependent clauses. We visited Florida last summer is an independent clause. It expresses a complete thought. When we visited Florida last summer is subordinate because it sounds like there is something missing. The thought is not complete. Another example, Jamie loves pizza, is independent. It could stand alone as a sentence. Although Jamie loves pizza is a subordinate clause. It cannot stand on its own as a sentence. So commonly used subordinate conjunctions, there's a lot of them, and you will get a hard copy that has a list of commonly used subordinate conjunctions. It's important to be able to recognize them so that you can determine whether a clause is independent or dependent. So let's do a little bit of practice. Determine whether each group of words is a phrase or a clause. Now, identify the subordinate conjunction in each sentence. Remember, the subordinate conjunction introduces the subordinate clause. All right. Determine whether the underlined clause is independent or dependent. So the best way to think about this, can this stand alone as a sentence? Does it express a complete thought? Okay, just a quick review. Each of these questions should also be answered on your note sheet. You should have the definition of these terms and an example of each one so that you can reference them as you move throughout the unit. And that's it for now. Easy peasy. You'll have clauses and phrases down in no time. I will let you know if you'll be the quick path or the more in-depth path for clauses and phrases next week when we work on grammar. With any leftover time in class today, you can check out the clauses and phrases resources that are under the content resources section on my website. There's Quizlet review, there's practice quizzes, there's practice games, there's videos, just to give you a little bit more practice before you start on your self-guided units. See you later.